It's also, I just want to add, it's nice to see some familiar faces in the audience. So we are going to start with me giving a quick introduction, and then Flavio and Anirban will go through the details of the MANRS program and the ambassadors and other things that they're doing in that area. So first of all, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the history of MANRS, well, at least in terms of the IXP part of it. Andre came to the EuroIX meeting back in 2016 and presented MANRS, which at the time was just was for networks. He explained to us what MANRS is, which is mutual agreed norms for routing security, and explain the importance of having clear instructions and excuse me, actions, if you like, on what needs to be done to be MANRS compliant. We all talk about the importance of security and what are things that we need to be doing, but with the MANRS program, it's very easy and clear cut. You can see the actions that need to be taken so that you can be MANRS compliant, or or at least give you some direction on where you need to go. So like I said, we talked about the ISPs initially. So it wasn't until 2 years later at the EuroIX Forum in Galway that we actually launched the IXP MANRS program. We launched it. We had 12 IXPs who started came together and started the initiative and put together the action points, which actually have the action plans, which actually have been expanded on since. And when we look at the actions, it's kind of things that you would think are items that IXPs should be doing anyway, but this just kind of gives it I think a rubber stamp and a clear guidance of what actually needs to be done. So the actions are prevent propagation of incorrect routing information, and I think that's the most that's one of the most important things here when we talk about routing security. Promote MANRS to the IXP membership. We all know that IXPs act as a really good platform for different types of communication. IXPs tend to work closely with their memberships, and this kind of information, kind of like what we're doing today, really helps bring awareness of things that need to be done or can be done to overall help secure the internet. Protect the peering platform, facilitate global operational communications, and provide monitoring tools and debugging tools for members, like, for example, looking glasses. So like I said, initially MANRS started off with 12 IXPs, and that's 2 years ago, and now we count 56. So it's really, really great to see the progress being made. We encourage all IXPs to consider joining the program. So if you're an IXP and you're not yet joined, I'm happy to see that you're here to learn about the program. So, it hasn't stopped. The IXP program was launched in 2016. They launched the actions for CDNs and cloud providers in 2020. MANRS now has an ambassador program, and they provide training and support to help networks and IXPs and they provide the training and support so that they can complete the actions and fully join the program. So today, I'm really proud to introduce two of the ambassadors. We have Flavio Luciani from Namex and Anirban Datta from Fiber at Home. So let's learn about MANRS and IXP routing security. I'm going to hand over to Flavio. Thank you.
Yeah. Second one is Anirban.
Oh, sorry, Anirban.
Yeah, it is okay.
Hand over.
Okay. So thank you, Bijal. Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see me. Hello. everyone, I'm Anirban Datta from Fiber Atom Global Limited. It's one of the biggest transit provider in Bangladesh. And I'm also one of the ambassador in training track of MANRS initiative. So let's start my presentation. My agenda of this part will be like, let's say what will be the problems, what we are experiencing nowadays for BGP leak or route leak and spoofing nowadays in every corner of the world. And what will be the solution for these types of problems nowadays is MANRS. So let's start with it. First one is overview of the problem, right? What is the problem right now is going on in routing infrastructure? See, routing incidents are continuously increasing. Like in 2019, we can see that bgpstream.com, which is an enormous number. And lots of problems are creating because of these incidents happened in the last couple of years and also in the present time. It creates lots of stolen data, like lots of loss of revenue and reputational damage and so and so. And the most interesting part is these hijacks lasted for many hours, even I say it, that maybe for 24 hours, let's say it's for one day also. So because of these problems, these incidents, it creates a global scale. Like one operator got a problem and it affects to another part of the problem operators also, because there are lots of clients under those operators. You can see lots of incidents happen, like two of them most probably in 2018, that AWS traffic was hijacked, and Cloudflare declared that because of route leak. Lots of requests were moving to another destination because of these route leaks. Was happened by Russian IPs. All these traffics were transferred to another IP or another network, which is we have found that from the Russian IP or Russian prefixes. So all these things are happening. All the routing infrastructure, all these communications right now in the internet is going on BGP, the Border Gateway Protocol. This BGP is entirely based on trust between the networks, because it doesn't have any built-in validation. So whatever you are advertising to me, I have to accept that, because I cannot validate. That's the BGP, and that is the problem. And the attackers have a room to do something malicious in your network. Let's say some incidents, like first one is BGP or route hijacking. As you can see, these are two customers, and this one is like, let's say, a MANRS participant network, and this is an attacker ASX. What he did, he deliberately or accidentally originated someone's prefix. Let's say this 192.0.2.0/24. This prefix is this resource is for this customer, like AS64501. But this attacker or this AS originated these prefixes in his network and with the MANRS participant. So he didn't validate the prefixes whether it is his own prefix or not. That's why the prefix where these should be come to this customer, but it goes to the attackers. So these customers will affect it, right? This is the traffic hijacking, or I should say the route hijacking happening. The second one is route leak. This is one of the most common nowadays. Like every ISPs or IXPs or the network operators or the operators, all are connected to more than 2 XP, route server, their upstream, and all those transit providers. Now, what they did or what they should do, they should accept the prefixes from the routing transit provider or their upstream or the route servers and should advertise to their client. But what they are doing, they sometimes accidentally or maybe human error, they are advertising the prefixes which they are getting from the transit provider or the route server. So there is a route leak is going on. Let's say for this example, this customer prefix should come from Google to internet and this MANRS participant network and to here. This should be the path. But this customer, let's say this is a multi-home customer participant network, but because of this, who is not a participant of MANRS or he didn't implant in anything of MANRS action, he created a problem here, which is known as route leak. What is going on? This customer advertised these prefixes which he is getting from this network towards the transit provider, and transit provider accept all the prefixes. So the traffic should come through this path, but the traffic coming through this longer path. That is the problem. Okay. You can see this incident statistics of last 2020, like last 6 months. We have seen that the major part is traffic hijack. The blue part is the hijack that like on March 2033 hijacks happened and route leaks were 97. So every month there are lots of incidents going on. So we must have to decrease these numbers, right? And the third one is IP address spoofing. It's nothing about just to validate the source address. There is no validation in the source address where these attackers or the malicious users have their room. Like for an example, DNS amplification attack is one of the example here. Like this attacker spoof this victim's address and requests are sent to these open resolvers like DNS resolvers, as every ISPs right now have there in their network. And then he created lots of, what should I say, the answers to that victim with a vague amount of packet size, which creates a lots of problem with this victim and his network may struck. Okay. So these are three types of problems, the major problems nowadays which are going on in this routing infrastructure in the whole world. So we network operators, we should have some responsibility to ensure a globally robust and secure routing infrastructure. So we have to work together to do something for these malicious users or the attackers, right? So what should be the solution? That's why the solution here is the MANRS, that is mutually agreed norms for routing security. It provides a crucial fix all over the country. So it is powered by ISOC and lots of security-minded people are here. It established industry best practices and created some collaboration among participants and shared responsibility for the routing infrastructure. We have lots of tutorial. You can go to the www.manrs.org/tutorials. You can see lots of tutorials over there, how you can learn how to do the MANRS actions in your network. And this one is about a tool which is provided by MANRS that is called the observatory tool. It's an excellent tool for all the peoples who are not with the MANRS participant, also who are in the MANRS participants, because it's created from BGP stream, CIDR report, CIDR report, all these stuffs and accumulate to a one excellent web GUI where you can easily check all the conformance, all the what should I say, all the incidents detailed from this tool. But for that, to detail information, you have to be a MANRS participant or MANRS member. It has two views. Number one is public view, where you can see only the region or economic or predefined group like MANRS. That's all you can see. But whenever you will be a member of MANRS, you can see the private view where you can see a lots of information. So, but they are like ASN and what happened in your network with a specific time and date, all the information you will get, and you can do your job, what we need to do in your network. Okay, so this, you can see the impact what we have done from today, these efforts what MANRS network. You can see the increasing of the MANRS networks and the decreasing of the incidence number. So our target is to this ash color, what should I say, this number should be go to 0. This is our target. So let's do something, let's join MANRS, let's work together. And what should be the actions, what you need to do to become a member in MANRS. Our next presenter, Mr. Flavio, will explain to you in a very good way. And he's one of the another ambassador training track. That's all from my end. Thank you. And Flavio, this is for you. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Anirban. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so hello everyone. Just as my colleagues have done, I just would like to introduce briefly myself. My name I am Flavio Luciani. I am from Italy, and currently I am the CTO of Namex. Namex is one of the Italian's exchange point, and we are exactly the Rome Internet Exchange Point. But I'm here today in quality of, as Bijal mentioned, in quality of MANRS ambassador of the virtual online training team, together with my ambassador colleague Anirban. And the team also includes not only me and Anirban, but very nice people that I will introduce you very soon. So let me just explain better what is the virtual online training team. So this year, a new MANRS program brought together security experts around the world that we call MANRS Ambassador and MANRS Fellows to make the global routing infrastructure more robust and secure. The idea is to have a sort of security task force composed of 3 different categories. We have trainers, we have researchers, and we have policy analysts. Today, it is a very pleasure for me to introduce you all the team trainers. They are really doing a great job. We are working together since last July, and until the next December 2020, we are contributing to make trainings in our regions and in our countries, and we are supporting MANRS together with the others teams in order to represent the initiative inside the communities network. So I would introduce you all the training team, because at the end of my presentation, I just would like to share with you our support in case you need some webinar or workshop, and if you are interested in some specific topics. So now we can move inside the IXP program, but before, let me just spend a few words about IXPs. You know, IXPs are strategic points on the internet where thousands of BGP sessions take place. They are physical infrastructures where networks meet. IXP members can interconnect each other through the peering platform or private network interconnections by using the passive infrastructure of the IXP. And they can, of course, exchange the routing information by using route servers and bilateral sessions as well. Also, let me also say that IXPs are infrastructure where people meet, because IXPs are also communities of network operators. So I have represented the peering key elements of an IXP in the picture that you can see here in this slide. From let me say that from a technical point of view, in general, the IXP model is represented by two main important elements. First, an IXP as a peering platform, and the peering platform is the heart of every IXP. It is the place where the interconnections for peering happen. And second, the second important and main element of an IXP is the route server. The route server is a service which facilitates the exchange of the routing information between members of the exchange. So this is the technical view, but IXPs are also other kind of things, because from a non-technical point of view, IXPs are like, let me say, squares where people meet. They represent sometimes a marketplace where members can sell and buy services from other participants of the exchange. IXPs organize events for members, and also they are a good place where network operators can share their experiences and their knowledge. So we can consider each IXP as a sort of local community with a common operational objective. So that's why I really feel that IXPs are the ideal place to improve the routing security, and one of the best sounding board to spread the voice on the internet ecosystem. Yeah, as Bijal mentioned at the beginning of its part, the IXP program launched in April 2018, about 2 years ago, with 12 initial participants. Today, September 30, the program counts 56 IXP. The program was designed to meet the unique needs of the IXP community. Always in the picture, and as I mentioned before, from the IXP model that it is represented by the interconnection key elements, the peering key elements, the program was in sort of way drove up to have a separate set of community-generated MANRS actions. Also, the program, it is not fixed forever, but it is continuously updating. MANRS team follows the evolution of the defense mechanism for the most common routing threats, and of course, the evolution of the model and the services that IXPs provide to their community members. And the program changes when something new, let me say, happens. Also, another important tool is the feedback from the community, because feedbacks are also and absolutely the best way to improve the program and the best practices indicated by the program itself. So, finally, these are the 5 actions indicated by the MANRS IXP program. Consider that the first 2 actions are filtering on the route server infrastructure and promotion of the MANRS initiative inside your community are a mandatory action. And then we have other 3 actions, and you should implement at least one of the other 3 actions in order to get the compliance. So in general, yeah, if you want to be MANRS compliant, you should implement the first 2 actions and one of the other 3 at least. But the suggestion is that you should implement all the 5 actions, of course. So let me go inside the action number 1, the prevent propagation of incorrect routing information. I think this is the first action. It is mandatory, and it is one of the main action that the program provide you all. Let me just let me speak about something about route servers, because it is important to understand that we know how route servers work, but we could describe the route server as a sort of enabling service, a real accelerator of peering. The route server, all we know that replaces the configuration of n bilateral sessions with a single BGP session. It allows to immediately receive most of the IPv4 and IPv6 prefixes reachable through the IXP, maximize the benefit of peering, and in the long term, we can say that it acts as a backup for bilateral sessions. In some cases, we can say also it is the only possible solution to be with some, for instance, for some big content providers or big network operators. So, but what about route server and routing security? Route server should guarantee the application of the security criteria and validation of the prefixes received. Validation is usually done by checking BGP announcement against, we can identify 3 areas. First, Internet Routing Registry data. As you know, by resolving the AES set objects, you can obtain a list of prefixes. And these prefixes are, of course, specified inside the Route 6 objects. Then you could build filters from that. The second one is the RPKI data. Prefixes with invalid status should be discarded, accepted, but not reflected to the peers. And third, we also have to manage the Martians and bogons. We can, of course, create manually these filters for Martians and bogons, but we can also, for instance, build a dynamic filtering based, for instance, this is an example on the service offered by Cambri team. So consider that there are many ways to perform such filterings on route servers. It depends on some factors. For instance, the software that you are running on your infrastructure. You can use Bird, you can use OpenBGPD. They have a different behavior, for example, in implementing RPKI filtering. There is also a set of very useful tools that you can use in implementation. For instance, there is the WHOIS tool we can use the WHOIS to read, for instance, member policies. We have another tool, BGPQ4, for resolving the AES set. And we have different also RPKI validators, such as Routinator, there is RIPE NCC validator as well. So in any case, the recommendation is, and the goal of this action number 1 is to reflect to the peers connected to your route server infrastructure, clean prefixes, and only what is absolutely authorized and legitimate. Now I can move to the action number 2. As before I mentioned, and I try to represent IXPs in a sort of simplified model. And I told you that there is the technical side, but not only the technical side, because, and this is the goal of this action, because the promotion of MANRS initiative inside an IXP community, it is related at the non-technical part of the IXP. As you know, IXPs are ecosystems of different kind of actors, because inside an IXP you can find content providers, content delivery networks, international carriers, national and local internet service providers, research networks, and so on. So as I mentioned before, IXPs can contribute to improve the routing security because they are communities of network operators. So you can actively promote manners and best practices inside your community by encouraging your members to implement, for instance, the actions or to follow a particular manners program. The encouragement can take different forms. I try to summarize these forms here in this slide. You can offer assistance, for example, to your members to maintain accurate information in appropriate repositories, such as IRR and RPKI databases. For instance, I mentioned before the validation from IRR data by resolving the ESET object. So it is a good way also to push members to update IRR information. If these objects are not updated, prefixes could be dropped on route servers because the validation process. Then you can offer also assistance in implementing MANRS IXP actions for the members. Consider that MANRS provides programs for content delivery networks and also a program for network operators. You could start from that. These programs are a sort of guidelines for your members. You can also indicate your MANRS participation on the member list and inside your website. And if you want, you can also provide some incentives linked to MANRS readiness. So the goal in this case of these actions too, it is to spread the voice of routing security. And we have a very useful tool that we call MANRS, and it is a container of best practices. It is very well organized and it is very well structured. So you can start from the programs and from the actions that every single program provides. And from that, you can spread the voice of the routing security inside your community network. So now, I would like to introduce you the action number 3. And this action is the protection of the peering platform. Although it is not strictly related to routing, it is important to apply hygiene on layer 2. And applying hygiene on layer 2 can contribute to the stability of the IXP active infrastructure and consequently to the routing. The purpose of peer LAN of an IXP is to let network operators exchange IP traffic between their autonomous systems. Features that do not perform BGP-related functions which are active on ISP routers could be potentially dangerous. And they could be potentially dangerous to the operation of the IXP. So commonly, you should filter different kind of things. The first one that I mentioned here, it is not allowed ether types. For instance, by using MAC ACL, you should filter on the ether type field so that only packets with the proper payload are allowed. You have to consider ARP, IPv4, and IPv6 protocols. All the other types should be discarded. The second that I mentioned, it is something about link local protocols such as IRDP, ICMP, redirects, spanning tree. For instance, you can filter the BPDU. So in general, it is useful the publishing of your policy of traffic not allowed on the peering platform. And in general, when possible, you should perform filtering of such traffic. So it is also, yes, I just would like to add that it is also suggested to continuously perform monitoring on the platform to check the health of the platform itself and to receive alerts in case of issues, in case of problem. This is a not mandatory action, but you can, of course, decide to implement the action number 3 together with the other 2 actions to get the compliance. So I can move to another action, the number 4. And also this is a very important action, because it is the idea behind this action is to facilitate the communications among members, because by the facilitation of the communication is essential in mitigating network incidents, for instance. Mailing list, or for example, updated contact information inside a customer portal, we help members to easily and fastly find the right contacts in case of need. So this is another non-technical action, but this is very important inside an IXP ecosystem. And now, this is the action number 5. This is another technical action. You can let me say, you should offer a looking glass interface of its route server to your members. This is very important, because the looking glass, or a sort of monitoring and debugging tool, can help your members to debug routing incidents or anomalies, and of course also prevent potential outages. So this was the last action. Just let me just, I don't know if, yes, let me just back to the actions. This is an overview that I showed you before about the actions. So consider that they totally represent the way which an IXP works. And as I told you before, the program was built by considering the needs that the IXP community has. Here you can find a link and that point to the IXP program, manrs.org/IXPs. You can find more information inside this page. But I also would like to tell you another time what I said at the beginning of my presentation. So there is a virtual online, and virtual online it is also because the health emergency that we are living, everyone. So this is online and virtual training team. It is, I consider me, Anirban, and the other colleagues a very great resource for you and for your members community. If you want to, because webinars and workshops are on the way. So we are doing many webinars, we are doing many workshops, we are covering many topics from RPKI to IRR system, peering database. We sometimes do introductions about MANRS programs. And not only, this is the first time that I speak about IXP's program, but in general, we usually do trainings about the other 2 programs for network operators and also for content delivery networks. So many topics are covered, and I just would say that you are all invited to attend. If you think that there is some topic that you would like to go in deep, or if you think that there is some questions related to MANRS, or related to apart from MANRS, also related to some routing security aspects, you can of course knock at our door, and I can leave you here my email and the email of Anirban. If you want, we can share with you the schedule of the webinars and workshops that we are doing, or in case you can just knock at our door and drop us an email just to if you have some particular need, and if you have some particular topic that if you want to and if you need some more explanation about something. So this is all. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have questions and if you have answers, there is.
Thank you, Flavio and Anirban. I think that was Really interesting. We do have time for questions, feedback, comments. If anyone has a question, you can raise your hand in the chat, or put your question in the Q&A, or even in the chat, and we can take it there. Are there any questions for the panelist? If not, I have a question. So we know that the MANRS program started off with, you know, for ISPs and networks, and it then grew into having the actions for IXPs. And it was clear that there were different, if you like, rules or necessities for CDNs and cloud providers. Do you think there is going to be any other programs being developed, or is there any chance of adding anything to any of the other programs? How does that work? If there's any feedback or questions or additions or within the program?
Yeah, I can try to answer, just to, because I have since last 2 months a different view on MANRS, and not only because Namex, the exchange point where I work, is a participant of MANRS itself. So let me say that as I told you before, the programs are continuously evolving, no? And one of the tool and it is a very useful tool, it is the feedback from the community. There is also a mailing list that it is MANRS community. I don't know if Isra wants to put this email in the chat, and there the community and also the MANRS team and ISO can receive feedbacks. Or for instance, there is now a discussion about another little improvement of the IXP program about RPKI AES equals 0. So in general, also, I think now we have the last program was the content delivery networks program, but for instance, we have many other actors in the ecosystems. For instance, in this moment, I'm trying to collect feedbacks from research networks, because also research networks are a part of these ecosystems. They are many around the world. Every country in general has a research network, and I don't know. Depends on the needs, because for instance, research networks are something like network operators, but they probably use a different way to say, because they don't have customers like a network operators. They have other different kind. They don't call customers their customers. So there are some little difference, but in general, I have collected that some feedback that probably they can be involved in the network operators program. So in general, I don't know if Isra wants to say something about new programs, but this is the process. We try with the research, also the research team, we try to put some questionnaires and to put some feedbacks from networks operators if there is the need to have some new programs or new actions inside the program that now are up and running, and so on.
Thanks. Isra, do you have anything to add on that?
Yes, in fact, thanks for asking. It's a good question, because we see MANRS as a community-driven program, I mean, activity and project. That's why we are continuously finding new ways to involve community in defining new programs, in defining even the actions that each of the programs already have, in order to see if we could make any improvement in the already existing programs, or if we need to develop another one. For 2021, it is possible for us to start thinking in developing something new focused on vendors, but we are working with the MANRS team, with the MANRS community, in order to see if that's feasible, and also if how could we add this program to the current project. So it's really important for us to have the community feedback. We have the social network profiles, we have the MANRS at isoc.org email address in order to collect feedback or comments, or any submission is important for us to start mapping the needs of the community, and also to plan the way forward with this project.
Thank you. Thanks, Isra. We've got a couple of questions in the Q&A. Let's take the first one from Carmen Dennis. In your opinion, what is one of the main challenges that you have identified in the IXP community for the adoption of MANRS? That's a good question. So in the IXP community, has there been any challenges?
It is for me, Bijal.
I think so, Flavio. Sorry, I'm looking at you, but obviously you can't see me looking at you. So yes, Flavio, can you can you?
Yeah, I think the main problem is the alphabetization, and not the particular technical issue to implement the actions, because IXPs have route servers, IXPs have peering platforms, and we IXPs, we are habituated to deploy, so to provide this kind of services to our members. So I think that the problem is not related to some technical, but related to some, just to know that there is MANRS, or that they have to know that there is a program dedicated, and because when you read the program, it is very easy to understand, because you have point to point many actions, and you can just follow what the MANRS program said, and you can very easily implement this kind of action. So I think the problem is just to spread the voice, and not related to some technical. So now I'm reading the second question, but this is a technical problem, because we have lots of difficulties to filter BPDU on Cisco Huawei platform, EVPN, VXLAN, Fabric. Do you know if any work group have taken the subject of filtering on IXP LAN already exists, mailing list, or I think that you are anonymous, but I don't know if you came from some maybe IXP, and if your IXP is member or not of one of the association around the world, like RIX, and here we have Bijal, also the other association around the world. There are many mailing lists and working groups that usually cover many topics, and also technical topics, of course. So if you want, and I don't know if you read my email, you can drop me an email, and I can suggest you some work group. We can also, if I can support you just to understand what is the problem. I don't know if it answers your question.
Thank you, Flavio. I don't see any more.
In
Yes,
any case, so let me just enforce what I said before. Me, Anirban, and the other members of the virtual team, we are available if you need support in terms of not only the joining of MANRS, but also if you want to improve your knowledge about some particular topic related to the routing security.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we don't have any more questions. No. So I don't know if Flavio and Anirban, do you have any last comments before we finish? I'll go to Anirban first. Do you have any closing comments?
Sure. Thank you, Bijal. Last of all, I should say, let's work together. Let's secure the core. Let's protect our core. And by the way, maybe some people have one question, that is there anything I have to pay for MANRS membership? I should say that it's completely free. It's truly free for registration. Just apply in MANRS, and MANRS team will check your network. If everything is fine, then you will be enlightened and then enrolled in the MANRS membership. Thank you. And we are always with you. If you need any help, we are here to help you every time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anirban. We have had one kind of last minute question come in from Ram Krishna Pariyar. What are the required facilities, tools, support the operators need to deploy RPKI? I think this can be quite a large topic in itself, but do either of you want to summarize? I'll go to
Anirban.
Anirban.
Sure.
Ramkrishna Pariyar is from the MANRS virtual team.
Fellow.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Another fellow.
Okay.
Yes. See, Ram, the thing is that the major tools to deploy the RPKI is like, first of all, you have to sign in your IRR database, from where your data will come. And another tool is a very magnificent tool, which you already told Flavio, that like routing network, RIPE NCC or for route validation. So it's very easy, and I should say I have already deployed in my network also. Routing network is very easy. You can just deploy in your network and validate the source addresses, the RPKI prefixes from your IRR database. It's very easy. If you need anything, I'm here. I can help you with all the installation process and all those things. Thank you.
Thank you, Anirban. And with that, I'll pass it to Flavio for final comments.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Bijal, and thank you, Anirban, and thank you all you attendees. I just would like to share what I usually think about routing security, and now let me dress the Namex hat, the hat of an internet exchange point and not MANRS ambassador. So I think that we IXPs, we are something like big carriers. We have many customers, we have many members, and we are very large communities of network operators. So I think we can do many things to improve the routing security, and not only the improvement to ourselves, but also we are a very large sounding board. We can spread the voice of routing security inside our communities, and I think this is one of the important facts that we have considered in our minds. And sure, we have to protect our peering platform. We have to filter on our route server infrastructures, but I think that we can do more in terms of also sensitize network operators to improve, not only for the good of the internet, but also for the good of every network operators that live in this ecosystem. So this is my last message, and of course, thank you very much.
We do actually have one last comment, and as it's 5 minutes to 3, We have, thank you for sharing valuable information for internet security. Would you like to understand what would be necessary for MANRS to test an ASN at a security level? Anirban, I don't know if you can answer that.
Yes, absolutely. It's very necessary. Like a real problem I can share with you from one of my experience in last maybe a couple of months ago. One customer, he originated another one's prefixes with his own ASN to his network. So this, you can say, an ASN hijack also. So the same prefix is originated from the same ASN, but to different environment. So you have, BGP cannot verify that this ASN is, or these prefixes are coming from that particular customer's network or not. So there we need to verify that, yes, these prefixes on this ASN is for that particular customer or the user who have these resources from the IRL. So we need to verify that ASN and also the prefixes, overall all the resources from your RI database. Thank you. I hope I can answer you.
Thank you, Anirban. And right, we've got one last question. I think this will be our final question for today. Oh, no, it's gone.
Sorry, I really answered that in writing. That's a question by Richard Amaning, right?
Yes.
With all the actions to be part of MANRS, how do your team check or inspect to ensure IXP meet all the action to be accepted? Well, in general terms, we ask potential participants to fill out a form. Then we have an internal audit team to give a follow-up. I answered in writing because I shared the URL to view the form. We have a dedicated form for operators, for IXPs, and a different one for CDN and cloud providers. Then we have a personalized follow-up, and we can work with the potential participants to, if they meet all the requirements, then they are all accepted, or we can work with them in order to improve the readiness, the MANRS readiness, in order to join the program.
Thank you, Isra. And with that, I think we are done. So I would like to also thank the panelists and the attendees. I hope this was useful for you. If you haven't implemented MANRS yet, please think about it, do it. Contact the ambassadors if you have any questions or feedback from either the session or the MANRS program in general. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.